So this is Sawyer Lake in Algonquin Park. And there's our canoe. It's a beautiful Friday afternoon. And we decided to sit down here by the water and have our dinner. So we have sweet potato. And we ate most of them, but there was veggies, including carrots, aperitif, there was sweet potato, there was rice, and we ate them all. We had chicken breasts. There were most things were cooked in foil over the campfire. This makes a very nice view to eat dinner by. Doesn't it, Jenny? So in the distance there is our campfire and a few things, plus our laundry line, our water purification system. But back here, we arranged for something more fun.
This is so cool.
The hammock is just strung between two trees, and some campers sleep in them, put a tarp over it, and spend the night in a hammock.
I can do this.
We are not currently planning to do that. We actually have a tent set up. This is just a place to relax where you don't have to sit on wet logs around the fire or anything. Okay, you can open again, Jenny. So this is just a place to sit and enjoy the looking up into the trees. Something like this. And with the sun coming in late afternoon and illuminating a little bit of the forest here, we can just sit here and relax and chill out, digest our dinner, and get ready for the next.
Read my book.
Oh, read a book. Listen to the MP3 player, and get ready for the next meal.
Yeah, I'm gonna have an apple pie.
Apple pie with what kind of crust?
I don't know. What is that called?
It's an apple baked on the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we've got lots of sun there, but your face is in the shade, so we can't see you.
Good.
There you go. The foot started working as a tripod to push my hand away. So that's what's left of our campfire. And where I am now, I have a headlamp on. I'm standing outside our tent. We're in Algonquin Park in September, and it's really neat because there's no bugs around, so the tent door's open. We're not rushing to close it. I'll have to keep pointing the light where I want to film. So we have a tarp up there, and so looking in our tent, there's Jenny. She's playing an audiobook. She's in bed, and I'm about to go in bed. And so this is. Oh, I can't do a selfie because I'll have shining a light. I'll be shining a light in my. Oh, you got your knees in the air. Okay. Okay. So this is us going to bed. It's about, I don't know, 20 degrees. It just feels room temperature. So it's very, very, very pleasant. It's still, anyway. I'm under the shelter in a bathing suit because although rain was forecast, it's actually raining. So I'm under this shelter, and Jenny's under the shelter, but her cook stove isn't. She is cooking up stir fry. Now the beans we cooked last night, soaked overnight, boiled again this morning after breakfast, and now we're having them for lunch, and there's also bacon and vegetables in there. It's a beautiful stir fry. The tent's a little bit of a mess, but it's under shelter, and we'll have to go in there and keep ourselves amused if this rain gets any worse. But for now, it's actually barely raining, especially when you're under the trees. But the way we handle a campfire, usually all we're doing is lighting a fire and putting wet logs over it that shelter it from the rain, but in this case they weren't wet enough and they lit, and now we have this fairly monstrous fire, but they're wet enough that it's just idling, so I guess we just let that work in the rain. Oh, and the other thing is we are, it's getting full. We're filtering water from up there, and I guess this is the last one. Oh good, okay. Anyway, I'm out in the rain and I'm in with the camera. I better shut it off so it doesn't get kind of wet.
So what are you doing, Dave?
I'm cutting up sweet potato.
No, it's a chili.
Oh, well, we want sweet potato in the chili, which not everybody has, but we do. Right?
Right.
Right.
Well, I don't want to put a sugar in, I'll put a sweet potato in.
Sweet potato is sweet and natural, so that makes a lot of sense. It's really good. I don't know if you can see it on the white water, but we had a seagull come by us, and it decided to swim quickly away when it caught me trying to film it. Anyway, don't know if you can see. So here we are in Algonquin Park, Sawyer Lake. Today was forecast to be rainy, stormy, terrible. We got up and it kind of looked like it was going to be a real stormy, terrible day. Jenny wanted to go investigate some other lakes nearby by taking our empty canoe away from our campsite and portaging the empty canoe over and going around Jubilee Lake, and then beyond that, and we did, and came back, and you know what, it was funny the whole time. We were laughing at the weather forecast. Sometime after we got home, it started to, well, there was a tiny mist, then was another tiny mist storm, and then there was some real rain, and then there was some more real rain. And of course, between times, there's nothing much going on. It's just sort of damp. And I just noticed as I was walking down here, there was whitecaps, and as soon as I turned on the video camera, they stopped. Anyway, this is probably a really good capture of a really miserable sunset. Sun? What sun? It's not set, there's no sun, and you know what, I'm looking at it and I'm looking what's in the viewfinder, and it just looks a lot more cheerful, but really there's huge amounts of angry clouds up there. I mean, they look angry when you're down here, and we know it just rained. The weather forecast was for it to cut out somewhere about now, so I thought I'd better capture this before it got too long, and clear it up. It became nice and starry and not filmable, and you know, all that. Anyway, it's fun washing hands and getting water stuff because of all these waves, but you know, that's normal for other places. But this morning when we came out, we didn't film, but it was absolutely glassy, beautiful, reflective sky and all the beautiful clouds type thing, and that's why we went off and we didn't film anything. So here we have a standard rainy day campfire. Huge amount of wood put on. It's so hot in this fire that the rain didn't really cause a problem, but we had logs across it that were supposed to guide the rain away from it, and they did that, but they caught fire, and now they're being decimated in the fire, and that's fine. But I just put this other huge, wet, rotten piece of log on here. It's not exactly going to be fuel for the fire in the next few hours, but this is how you make a fire last a long time. You give it some ridiculous fuel, and it spends like half the night drying it. In fact, it actually almost looks like it's burning, but it really isn't. It's just what's going on underneath it. And by halfway through the night, it'll actually be dry enough to burn. And that's the idea. So anyway, that's this trick. We're going to do that a couple more times through the... It's still... So here I am in the woods right beside Sawyer Lake, which is the body of water you can see through the trees. So here we are in the forest. I'm on a incline, steep one, to go up, and I was following what appeared to be a trail because I think this is where people came to get firewood, and any obvious firewood's been taken, but there's a trail here and it's really convenient. And so I was going along here and seeing all kinds of things, like I have no idea whether we can eat that mushroom. I wouldn't try, but you know, some people who know mushrooms might actually decide that we should have eaten these instead of our own food. But anyway, we brought too much food, so it doesn't matter. When I say trail, you kind of have to have an idea where people probably went because it's not that obvious. But every once in a while you find things like saw cuts and chops that tell you that other people have been here, and I know why. They thought they were going to get some firewood, and it appeared as though in that case they gave up before they got it, but that's okay. It's just so up and downhill here. This is so cool. And then you get things like that mushroom on an embankment, and here we are running downhill almost to water level. This is obviously where stuff runs out of the ground further up, and at this point it's a trail only because people were along here finding firewood, and I'm not looking for any, so I'm carrying this stupid camera and it's causing me to trip and stuff. Oh, and there's our tarp over our tents. We're back to, there's our campfire. We're back to base camp. Oh yeah, I was gonna bring more goop back to throw on here, but it's gonna go on for quite a while, so not a big rush. Probably the wetter, the better, because that's really going. And the idea is, if we want that to keep going into the night, we have to tell it to stall for a few hours, like dry out and then burn. That log is one that's supposed to do that, and it's already starting to singe underneath. And I was thinking of putting a couple more there, and it will probably continue overnight. Not that this is a spectacular sunset. Oh, sun? No, there's no sun. Setting? No, not setting. It's already been dark, but there's light spots like that, and then there's, you know, gray sky, and our canoe's hid there. I am out in the middle of Sawyer Lake in Algonquin Park, and Jenny's sitting in front of me canoeing, or paddling rather, and I'm sitting here taking a selfie, which is as productive as paddling. It's kind of windy, although there's some sun out, which is nice, but it's